Hey people, I hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, I just want to tackle why so many people are not making it through, whether it is in business, health, relationships, whatever. But again, I just want to keep this one strictly reserved to the business side. Because again, I worked with so many people, and whenever they want to start, at that moment, whenever they hit failure the first time, they say, you know what, it does not work. It's like they're going the opposite direction. And first, before I go for it, and again, I fell into the exact same trap. That's why I had so many businesses and they didn't work. Many of them didn't work because they didn't have the right mindset. And that's why you're gonna, for example, if you listen to Jim Rohn or Tony Robbins, they stress the fact that your philosophy is gonna make you rich or poor. And that's totally true because it's all a matter of perspective. Action is just what follows your thought process, okay? And so first, let me break it all down for you. And because the moment you understand that, that's when you start understanding where you're at. When you're understanding that stage where you're hitting that difficulty, say, oh, you know what? I'm here right now. I shouldn't fall into that trap. And I gotta persevere. So first, I don't know if you can see if you can see my screen, we have this emotional cycle of change. We have phases, and that's how human beings are. That's how we're wired. We have that first phase, which is the uninformed optimism. What does that mean? That you see whenever you see a good program on whatever website, and it tells you that you're gonna get shredded in 6 weeks, in 3 weeks, in 4 weeks, six months, whatever. You're super motivated to go there and start. Go get that course, go get that training program, or whatever, start. Same thing. If you see a course that's going to tell you, oh, you know what, you get that course, and if you follow it step by step for 14 days or 2 months or 1 month, you're going to make at least X amount of money. Everybody's excited. Everybody, get their purse out and buy the course or the mentorship program, whatever. Okay. But that's how we are. And then there is the other phase, which is kind of the very first filter, which is the informed pessimism. Why the first phase is uninformed? Because you don't know what it takes. You just see the result. You see the result and you see whatever it is that you have to get into to start. But you don't see what goes in the middle. Okay, you don't see the gray side, the boring part. When you get to phase 2, what happens? You get into that informed pessimism. Why is it called like that? It's called like that because the more you get to learn what it is, for example, in my case, like in our case, when we're talking about, for example, the bodybuilding program, for example, when you see what it takes to get there in those 6 weeks or 2 months or whatever X amount of time, you will say, oh, now you're going to start. Then now you're more informed about what it takes. It gets a little bit overwhelming. And that's when many people, say, oh, start finding excuses. I don't know if I can make it. That's when doubt creeps in. I don't know if I can make it. I don't know if I have the time. I don't know. I'm gonna come from work, get back from work and get there and work hard and sweat and this and that. Same thing for business. When you get to business, for example, when you know that you're gonna get that course, okay, and you see the steps that you have to apply to get to that result, that's when you start asking yourself. That's when you start doubting your ability. Say, oh, can I truly make it? Like, I don't have time to talk to people. I don't like this part. I don't want to call people. Oh, I don't want to have this. I don't want to have that. There's too much. There's too much. And that's when it gets overwhelming. And then at phase 3, we get into that valley. It's called valley of despair. Okay, it's called valley of despair. Valley of despair, that's where most people quit. That's where you so overwhelmed they say, you know what, you take the easy the easiest decision ever, which is forget it. Forget it, and you move to the other phase, which is the shiny object syndrome. You move into the next thing that seems plausible, that where you can succeed, and it keeps going on like that. You touch one thing, you leave it. You touch one thing, the moment you get informed, you know how much work you have to put in, and then you just give it up again. Keeps on going, and this stays for life. This is a mindset. This is, the more you do it, the more you get used to it. So be careful. So here in this valley of despair, if you make it through, if you say, okay, you know what, I'm overwhelmed, I don't want to do it, but if you get through that threshold and you get into that informed optimism, that when you get, that's when you could succeed. That's where you could succeed, because again, now you keep putting in the work, but you're informed. You keep putting in the work, and then you're gonna see results coming in over time, and then you say, oh, you know what, I persevered, you know, in front of the adversity that I had, but you know what, that paid off. And if that paid off, that means I have to keep repeating the exact same cycle over and over again, and that's gonna work, because that's a winning model. When you see the success, that's when you're fulfilled, and then you start changing your mentality. But, and again, this being said, I just this part, I just want to show you the emotional side of ourselves that we get, you know, the phases of emotions that we get through. And the moment you get to understand it very deeply, that's the moment you start gamifying this whole emotional cycle, because you know that your mind is kind of tricking you. Your lizard brain's trying to tell you something, to say, oh, you know what, I'm in that exact same phase. Okay, now I get it. No, I shouldn't be quitting here. I should be persevering. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. Okay. And that applies to almost every single angle of your life. Now, I just want to move to another, now that I explained the emotional cycle, I want to explain this. And again, this is a very good book that should be reading, which is The Slight Edge. And I just want to dive into a diagram that he chuckled inside of his book. When you see, and that's exactly what, because it's interconnected. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. When here, right, you get into any kind of decisions. Remember when I told you when in the valley of despair, you just want to give it up. Because at first, it's easy. It's easy, right? What I'm saying here, what is easy to do, you know, whenever, you know, every single discipline, whether positive or negative, it's easy to start. Easy to say, I'm going to buy a book. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get you into that program. Easy. Everybody can do it. But I truly believe that if you want to succeed, you're going to have to get the discipline. And the discipline, that's what comes when you get into the boring stuff. So that's the thing. When you keep going to the gym, that's the problem. People, they want the instant results. However, true success, and again, it's relative, however you define it. And for me, you know, whether it is that you want to bring up, like build a huge company that's going to impact the world or your community, or you want to get big inside of the gym, or learn something very, like a great skill, that's not happening overnight. Overnight success could mean years, probably decades of work. but you gotta be consistent. You gotta be consistent. You keep doing almost the exact same thing every day. That's gonna show up in the future over time. That's not tomorrow. And that's where we people tend to slip through. Okay. That's why whenever at first you don't want to do it, you keep doing it. And the moment you keep doing it, that's gonna be part of yourself, part of your lifestyle. But it takes time to get those neurons to get wired up. That's what you should be understanding, okay? Because it's easy to start, but not easy to keep going. That's why you have to master the mundane. And that's something that I always say. That's something that I always have to remind myself, because I have those moments where I want to give up. I do so many times, but I always have bring back myself to reality. Say, oh, you know what? No. Your lizard brain is playing tricks on you. So be careful, keep doing it. Just keep doing it, trust the process, and that's gonna pay off. And then the moment you're gonna skip that day of the gym, the moment you're gonna, so for example, let's say you're reaching out, I'm just gonna give you an example. Let's say you have a company, right? You're prospecting, you're reaching out to 20 people a day, okay? If you don't do it over time, doing it one day, probably not, it's not gonna bring you a client. Even as small as it seems, even with 10 people, even reaching out to 10 people, you just have to keep it consistent. Everybody's gonna reach out to 200 people a day, 100 people a day. Everybody can do it. It's easy. Everybody's pumped up. But again, we're human beings with, we have pumps in terms, of emotions, and then sometimes dumps. And in those dumps, that's when you show up. That's where the winners stand out from the crowd. That's the 5% success here. That's people who keep doing the uncomfortable, which is going to be comfortable later, because keep doing the thing over time, then you're going to get used to it. It's going to become second nature, that you will not even, just the moment you don't apply the discipline, for example, if you have to go to the gym every day, or if you don't do it, you're going to feel that something is not right. It's going to become very easy to do, okay? But you have to give it time. But people, including me, and again, I need my own advice, and we tend to give up at the very first sign of adversity. Oh, you know what? That's too much. Let's move to something else. Okay. So be aware of that. And what's comfortable, which is, hey, you know what? Let me go to the other thing. Let me go to the other thing. Oh, let me skip the gym. Oh, let's forget it. This program is too hard. I'm just gonna go and have some fun, eat whatever I want. And yes, one day is not gonna show up. But if you keep eating like bad food on a daily basis, over time, that's gonna show up. That's gonna reflect. That's what I said, like your body is gonna reflect your habits. Your bank account is reflecting generally your habits. What do you do every single day? Okay. So, and that applies again to your finances, to business, to health, personal development, relationships, everything, almost every single thing. Okay. And again, whether you keep doing the thing or you're not doing it, that's a habit that you're constructing, like positive or negative. So that's why, guys, if you keep going from one thing to the other, make sure you stop it. Make sure you stick to one thing. Give it time. Give it time. Okay? And that's gonna pay off. Now, the last thing that I want to tackle, and that's something that I learned from a book, and this is very, very interesting, that I wanted to share with you. So whenever we tend to start a business, whenever we tend to do anything in life, and again, because I have my own clients, and that's something that I like to tackle at our very first meeting, because I like to show them, hey, here is what it takes to win. At first, people come here, okay? They get here, you have this. You have this long, let's say, okay, let's say this is failure and this is success. Okay. People think that we start in this place, in the middle ground. So what happens? When you tell them to reach, for example, let's say you have a business, any type of business, you gotta bring people in. What they do, they keep, let's say, they keep talking to people, they keep prospecting, right? And what happens? They get into no, 1 day, 2 day, a week, and then they say, you know what? It's not working. It is not working, okay? And then what happens? They give up. And that's how we think we are. Like, that's how we think we're positioned. No, in fact, it's not a matter of success or failure. Failure is the way to success. Failure is the stepping stone to success, because that's where you're gonna learn. That's where you're gonna adjust. And if you keep persevering, and again, that relates to the other diagram that I showed you here, the valley of despair, that's where people, they say, you know what? It's not working, because you know what? They are here in this place. They hit the first block of failure, period. It's not working. But let me share with you, I wanna enlighten you upon something, like I want you to take another approach and exactly look at every single unicorn, big company that impacts the world in a tremendous way, or look at every single successful person in whatever endeavor that they have. What's going to happen? You have this, okay? Let me share with you this. Okay, I'm going to put it this way. Okay. How about this? You have this, and you have that. And you have this. Where are you positioned normally? Let me share with you. That's where you are positioned, guys. Okay. That's where you are positioned. This is you. This is you. Okay. Boom. Not good. That's where you start. Where is failure? That is failure. And the moment you understand that, you grasp it with every single bit of your own being, that's when your life is going to start to change. Because you're going to be unstoppable. And you understand it's just a matter of time before you get successful, before you get where you want to get. Okay. And then you have success. And I'm stressing this. I cannot stress this enough, because that's the recipe. If you understand, if you embody that philosophy, it's going to result in your actions. Because whenever you're going to hit a roadblock, you're going to say, you know what? I'm being tested. And trust me, persevere. Push through those roadblocks. And you will eventually succeed. Okay? What's going to happen? Look at it this way. You get to failure with that mindset, which is a different mindset. You get to that failure. You get the no's. What's going to happen? You keep pushing through it. You get sometimes you get some questions, you get some things, and you keep adjusting a little bit. Keep adjusting here and there. And you know what? You keep pushing through it. You keep pushing through it. And the moment, at a certain point, you're going to get your yes. You're going to get your result. But it is extremely crucial that you understand that you have to go through this step, which is the failure step, before you get to success. Okay? Those failures those elements are the ones that are going to propel you to get to understand, like to get to where you should be going, where you should be, where you should be. Okay. So guys, now I just want you to, if you could remember this, because I wanted to explain the emotional cycle so that we can explain how we work, guys. Because the more, you know, like that's why Plato is always saying, know thyself. The moment you get to know yourself, you understand that you're going through this phase and that phase, and then you can start doing some neural hacks and working and talking to yourself. Say, oh, you know, I'm being tricked here. Okay, no, I'm not gonna fall. I'm not gonna fall for it. Okay, but now, whenever you get this new mentality, this new mindset, it's not about going. You're not going for failure, guys. It's not one way or the other. Failure is not on the opposite spectrum of success. No, don't look at it this way. Failure is the stepping stone to success. Okay? And remember, if you want to be unstoppable, if you want to succeed, you gotta keep pushing forward. If overnight success, this is something, you know, that is one in the millions. The reality is overnight success. Look at Amazon. Amazon has been a tremendous success after probably 25 years. Okay. Airbnb, look at them. Airbnb is an incredible story as far as I'm concerned, because again, they're, you know, they kept adjusting. They kept being, their idea was just a small idea. They were just about airbeds. And then, you know, they went just for conferences. Then conferences stopped, and then they didn't have people, and then you know, they were just about airbeds, and then they said, oh, you know what, we have to move to breakfast so that we keep bootstrapping our business. And then they didn't know whether the idea was new, because it was a new thing at that time. And that's what is exciting about this, is that mostly innovative ideas. People, like, you have to keep pushing through it. You have to keep adjusting. And then they understood, oh, you know what, why we're not having those many bookings is because the images were bad. And then they had to add the payment process. And then they kept going on. And, you know, look at it, where it is now. Same thing for Uber. It started very small. They kept getting so, like, if you listen to how the story of like Uber came into fruition, it's very interesting. They saw that there was a need. People go out on Thursday, on weekends, and the demand is way higher than the offer. And you know, they wanted to offer even an opportunity to those drivers, to every single person, to make money while offering that fast service to those people. To those people, you know, who are looking for cab. And what they did, he just asked 10 of his friends whether they would be in if they had to do it on the weekends, driving, right? Making some money online, making some money. And then 4 of them, if I remember well, they said yes. So what happened at that time? I know a story of a guy who knows them, and he said, we've been going, like, what they were doing all day long. One guy was taking care of the driver's side, and the other guy was taking care of prospecting the driver's, the driver's side. And he was calling cab companies every single day, from morning to the night. They get so many no's. And again, that brings me to my point. Something that I learned, I wanted to share with you, and that's why I told you. There is a great book that I would recommend that you read, a very small read, which is Go for No. Okay, very interesting book. Basically, it all boils down to the fact that instead of you, because when you're, that's where I learned this. If you go with this model, which is going for no, when you get the no's, what happens? When you keep getting the no's, say, oh, you know what, that doesn't work, and you give up. You're gonna keep giving up over and over again. You're never gonna get to succeed, guys. However, if you go with another mindset, which is You know, I gotta get 10 rejections today. I gotta get 20 no's today. Start small. Develop that thick skin, because that's what it takes to win. Even if you get 2 yeses, 3 yeses, no, get to your amount of no's of the day. That's when you become unstoppable. You keep crushing every single wall, you know, in front of you. So remember this. Whenever you want to go with something, say, okay, I gotta get my nose of the day. I gotta get my protein of the day. Because the more you get nose, the more you get done. Your skin is getting thicker and thicker and become unstoppable. And I wanted to dedicate this video for the mindset part, because I truly believe it is of utmost importance to outline it. And I truly believe that if you get this inside of your mind, if you grasp it, you will get to leave your emotional self, you know, and get to shift to your logical self. Because if you keep following your emotions, you're gonna stop. You're gonna get offended. You're gonna start taking things personally. You're never gonna make it through. But if you gamify it and make it fun, say, oh, you know what? Let's get to 10 no's. You're gonna get here, from here to here, get no's. No, 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 no. Okay, no. Now we're gonna get to yes. No, I gotta get my no's. Trust me, this is a recipe that's gonna get you very, very, very far in your life, in whatever you want to do. Okay, same thing. The problem here is that when people get to know, they forget it. Oh, you know what? This is not for me. They're never gonna succeed at anything. Okay, so, and again, I would invite you to study every single successful person that you consider inspiring, successful. See how many no's they got. See how many no's they got before they got to yes. I heard that the guy who just started the KFC got rejected so many times, like over 1,000 times before he got his very first contract to sell the KFC recipe. And he went all over America for 2 years. Look at Walt Disney. Walt Disney has been rejected over 300 times before he got a yes. And I believe he just stopped for 7, yeah, he got 7 bankruptcies, something like that. But again, this is all to tell you, you have to master the mundane, keep doing the boring stuff, adopt that mindset that I shared with you, and hopefully, guys, you will eventually succeed. I hope you love this video. Please share it with your loved ones, and to your success. Have a wonderful day. You take care, people.